Professional Development Plan for Literacy by Art W. Fisher. Coursework for LED 888. Designed as a major determinant for admittance, the Graduate Studies has created a criterion reference assessment for the writing sample. The criterion reference assessment, in the form of a writing rubric, consists of 8 standard descriptors, each consisting of a 4-point range, and where a cut score has been predetermined for admittance requirements. For the coursework, the Graduate Studies also created a criterion reference assessment rubric consisting of 10 standard descriptors with a 4-point range. The written capstone experience for the graduate candidate consists of a research-based community action project, inclusive of a master thesis and a doctoral dissertation. The established criterion reference assessment rubric for the capstone experience incorporates 4 standard descriptors with a 4-point range. The following graph documents the content of the Criterion Reference Assessment Program rubrics and the standard descriptors for admittance, the coursework, and the capstone experience. In considering 22 program standard descriptors, just one descriptor, the mechanics of writing, is being reinforced by the admittance requirements for the coursework and for the capstone experience. Writing professionally, the use of APA as seen is introduced at the entrance as a standard descriptor for admittance, excluded within the coursework, and surfaces as a standard descriptor for the capstone experience. As previously noted, the standard descriptors chosen for admittance, the coursework, and the capstone are not consistent, and neither is the point range descriptors. For admittance, the point range is either unacceptable, acceptable, good, or exemplary. For the coursework, the point range specifically previews the topic for clarity, while a capstone range includes not completing, unacceptable, acceptable, and outstanding. The selection of point descriptors could serve beneficial for student learning and should be open for review and discussion. Based on the most recent displayed data for entry, a total of 11 students submitted their writing sample for review. With a cut score of 14, 7 individuals, or 67%, met the requirements for admittance, while 4, or 36%, were denied admission. Of the 11 applying for admission, 4 obtained their undergraduate degrees from OLC and met admission requirements. The remaining students obtained their undergraduate degrees from other institutions. Modifications of the current scoring rubric can give the department a better understanding of what literacy elements possible candidates are deficient in. Froelich and Pugh proclaim that assessment has 2 purposes and can be viewed vertically and horizontally. Assessment for student learning, vertically, and as a means to assess for student learning, horizontally. In consideration, the Criterion Reference Assessment rubrics should serve as a tool that monitors the quality of entry-level students for admittance, as a means to guide students' development disposition for literacy, and to serve as a means to prepare students for the capstone experience. By doing so, the program would assess student learning vertically and assess for student learning horizontally. The knowledge base for the graduate programs is designed to produce candidates with expanded intellectual application, independence in reading and research using critical thinking skills in decision-making, and ability to design and implement change through strategic planning. The aims then for the graduate program is highly influential of the 5 strands of the language arts: reading, writing, speaking, listening, and viewing. You may consider at this point the overview of the rubrics is only looking at just one of the language arts, writing. In all actuality here, the problem I'm seeking solutions to is to standardize the descriptors for the written expression of the program rubrics for entrance, the coursework, and for the capstone experience. Critically, the language arts cannot be separated. Each of the strands are interactive, and therefore is an opportunity here to use writing as a basis to assist graduate faculty with their literacy development for their assessment of student learning and as a means to assess for student learning. Therefore, my professional development activities involve studies consisting of criterion reference assessment and rubrics, and the relationship of the skills and strategies of written expression related to the language arts for professional development activities for faculty. Christie, Granger, Dahlgren, Call, Hack, and Simon make note of the studies of rubrics in a series of articles and keynote addresses that span almost 2 decades. They argue that educational institutions are becoming more committed to using criteria reference assessments in order to promote effective student learning. They provide convincing evidence in the articles that focus specifically on higher education, on the connection between good rubrics and good learning. Their study provides a specific comparative case that helps substantiate the assumption that criterion reference assessments and well-written rubrics will increase the quality of learning. Well-composed rubrics not only help the student, but also force the teacher to become more exact in the formulation of learning tasks. L. Harvey, in a discussion of reading and writing, states that teachers in different disciplines should be prepared in writing skills in the content area to teach their students how to write their specific subjects. In addition, students will improve their learning when they are asked to write about the text. Therefore, when students write about what they read, they will comprehend what they have read. Why are teachers and administrators doing what they are doing in the classrooms, you ask? Gillies, Garcia, Kim, Manthe, and Smith notes that at the graduate level, writing is the dominant way in which knowledge is presented and assessed. This happens through coursework, comprehension exams, thesis and dissertations, conference presentations, and publications. Graduate students write frequently, though the actual requirements vary across departments and disciplines. However, the expectation is that students already know how to write before they begin grad school. Instructors of graduate students may assume that students learn basic writing skills during their high school and undergraduate years. Given this assumption, it is no surprise that many graduate faculty express exasperations about the quality of the students' writing. And we seem to do little to address the quality of writing in a systematic way at the very point where scholarly style and identity is being shaped, that is, at the graduate level. Most faculty have experience in their content area and have little workable knowledge of the instruction of literacy. The main idea of content area reading as related to course text to produce content area writing is to use the language parts effectively to maintain high-level learning. In combination, as pointed out by Froelich and Pugh, the androgyny studies of Edward C. Linderman brought about a new technique for learning. Linderman assumed 5 things about adult learners. Adults are motivated to learn because they want to explore the needs and their interests that only learning can satisfy. Learning has a life-centered orientation. Experience is the fundamental for all learning. Learning as adults should be self-directed, and our differences only increase as we get older. Indications are that the adult, according to a situation, becomes self-directed to learn, and therefore the desire to learn becomes a need. As pointed out in the finding of a 2-year study by the National Foundation for the Improvement of Schools, the connective writings of Wepner and Strickler indicate school-wide change for the betterment of student performance occurs when teachers examine learning data and determine the steps needed for school improvement. Likewise, Troia states a major goal of education reform is to incorporate the findings from clear, consistent, and convincing scientific research into the day-to-day operations of the schools to help create a culture of evidence-based practices. Although this presentation included little data, it is a starting point which presents a need to look at the literacy development of students and candidates of the Graduate Studies Department. Further, with the review of data, a need for professional development for literacy across the content area can be integrated with the development of a criteria reference assessment rubrics of standardized descriptors. In an attempt to establish a literacy specialty team, an invitation will be sent to the staff and faculty of the Graduate Studies Department and to those of other college departments as well as those with a wealth of knowledge in adult literacy within the community. Upon reviewing the data of how the criterion reference assessment rubrics misalign, the following goal-oriented essential questions will drive professional development for the faculty and staff of the Graduate Studies Department, and also confirming their commitment to be part of the literacy specialist team. Based on the overview of the current Graduate Studies Department criterion reference assessment rubrics, what would be an acceptable vision and mission statement for the development of the student disposition for literacy? Considering rubrics inclusive of standard descriptors for written graduate work, in what way can the data obtained from the current criterion reference assessment rubrics lead to restructuring the process of evaluating literacy for assessment of student learning and as a means to assess for student learning? In what way can professional development opportunities relate to the newly developed standard descriptors as a means to promote the strategies and skills for literacy for graduate work? The essential questions have been developed around the following goals and objectives. To establish a literacy leadership team recognizing a need to change assessment of candidate learning vertically and as a means to assess for student learning horizontally by establishing a vision and mission of literacy, establishing a literacy aims, goals, and objectives, identifying professional development activities to assist graduate faculty in their instruction of the skills and strategies for literacy. From the goals, the following objectives have been written for professional development. After receiving a department invitation to join a literacy leadership team, potential team members will come to the initial development meeting and base their involvement on the review of the introductory presentation, or parts of this presentation, related to the current department criterion-based assessment rubrics. Based on a need for change, the literacy specialist team will preview the video, the vision, mission, statement, and compare to the Graduate Studies Department knowledge-based statement. Preview vision and mission statements for adult literacy from other universities and create a vision and mission statement for the department's literacy program. Based on the developed mission for the department's literacy program, the literacy leadership team will seek scholarly works related to developing a mission, aims, devise goals, and measurable objectives for a continual literacy development. Based on the goals and objectives for the graduate literacy program, the literacy leadership team will explore institutional rubrics for literacy and produce a criterion-based assessment rubric inclusive of standard descriptors. Based on the newly developed criterion-based assessment rubrics, the literacy specialist team will evaluate candidate writing samples and determine for credibility. How should we proceed with the professional development? For this assignment, I have presented in the introduction the need to revisit and revise the department's standard descriptors for literacy. I want to reinforce that a strong vision and mission statement for literacy will assist in the sound development of a program for literacy for the Graduate Studies Department. Even though I have presented goals, objectives, and the essential questions to continue with this professional development plan for this assignment, I will just present the introductory presentation which devises the need and then the development of the vision and the mission for literacy. I do want you to understand once the vision and mission and the literacy specialist team has been established, the standard descriptors for the rubrics will determine further professional development more in line with the skills and strategies for effective instruction for student learning. In consideration of Camborne's 8 conditions, The following table has been produced for the professional development activities for the creation of the department's vision and mission statement. For demonstration, a preview of the introduction of this presentation, which presents a need, will occur in the presence of staff, faculty, and others invited as potential literacy specialist team members, and will be open for discussion upon their preview. The demonstration will move to a review of a university's vision and mission for literacy and will be open for discussion. Following discussions, the related essential question will be posed. Based on the overview of the current Graduate Studies Department Criterion Reference Assessment rubrics, what would be an acceptable vision and mission statement for the development of the student's disposition for literacy? A video based on the development and the content of vision and mission statement will be viewed and open for discussion. Guided practice will then include the critique of the university's vision and mission statement based on the content of the video. The immersion and engagement of the literacy team will consist of independent practice where participants will search online for examples of other universities' vision and mission statements and determine the appropriateness of the content related to the aims and create a vision and mission statement for the department by reading the scholarly selections associated with the essential question. Upon immersion of the seeking and in analyzing other universities' vision and mission statement, participants will utilize a think, pair, and share. On their own, they will think and write a vision and mission statement for the department. They will pair to review individual statements and refine, producing an acceptable vision and mission to share with the large group. The large group will engage in the refinement of the proposed vision and mission statements and will continue to finalize the vision and mission statement for the department. For the expectation for the developing vision and mission statement, first of all, discussions will lead to the determination of what a safe learning environment may look like. It is expected that these activities may take time, more than one setting. To an extent, within reason, the time for professional development should be determined by the literacy specialist team. It is expected those who are interested will commit to being a part of the literacy specialist team and continue in their engagement. In the safety of their group members, the groups will present the critique of university's vision and mission statement and its literary value. Then will devise a vision and mission for the Graduate Studies Department to be presented to their peers. The large group will provide consensus on the finalized vision and mission for literacy for the department. For use in employment, as the group delves further into their understanding of vision and mission statements, program goals and objectives for literacy will be devised strategically. Accompanying the materials, a blog will be devised for the developing literacy specialty team to post and respond. The following materials will be posted under Materials for Developing a Vision and Mission Statement and will be used for the professional development activity. How to write a vision statement that inspires. How to write a mission statement. Business tool, mission, aims, and objectives. In closing, even though I have presented goals, objectives, and essential questions to continue with this professional development plan for this assignment, I have just presented the introductory professional development activities, which devises the need to create a vision and mission for literacy. Professional development based around the essential questions presented earlier have been created evolving around scholarly works for adult literacy, following Camboard's 8 conditions. Due to the length of this presentation, I have just included the professional development plan for the creation of a sound vision and mission for the Graduate Studies Department. In closing, I welcome any comments you may have.